Are you willing to sacrifice your life?
This is row 1, seat 1.
Well, this is nice. When did we start doing this? Nobody told me about this. I thought everything sucked now. Do you have a card?
You get COVID? It's over. COVID said, oh, I see you having a good season. It'd be a shame if I knocked over the microphone for those listening and not watching the video.
I'm going to, okay? Caleb, I love you. Can't wait to see you, all right?
Luck is for dudes.
Oh, there is no one on that Broncos team that I love more right now than Von Miller. That man is an absolute goddamn legend. He could come into my house and fuck my wife, and I would say, thank you very much, sir.
Man to man, I don't know.
The mayor of New Orleans basically came out twirling the umbrella like, fuck Drew Brees and his wife.
Who'd you rather have sex with?
We would be.
I'm an island boy.
I'm a just island boy.
I picture
That's it.
Joey now on every Sunday watching Teddy Two Gloves, like that SpongeBob meme where he's like dried out with the eyes fucking like bloodshot. Like,
Ooh, yeah. That's the stuff, baby.
What the fuck are you doing, Phil?
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another beautiful Tuesday evening. It is row 1, seat 1. I am your host, Joey Fats. With me this evening is Plizzy. Mr. Betancourt could not be here this evening. We think he has monkeypox.
Oh yeah, monkeypox.
Yeah, he's been spending a little bit too much time in those Spanish bathhouses, if you know what I mean. So he will not be joining us tonight, but he is here in spirit.
Yeah.
And he will be back next week, I'm sure, once he is fully recovered and healthy from his horrifically disgusting disease that he has. 774-992-8702 is the phone number if you want to give us a call. We'll be talking all things Celtics and Heat tonight. We'll react to Game 4's blowout last night and also talk a little bit about the embarrassment that was Game 3. We'll talk about Josh Donaldson getting a 1-game suspension from the MLB for calling somebody, apparently, names are just racial slurs now, so we've got that. We'll talk a little bit about the NFL. Paul, your Colts making some pretty significant moves in the last 6 days.
Yeah, I like it.
So they are, in my opinion, the Colts have firmly asserted themselves as a favorite now in the AFC since they have insulated themselves against the one thing that you can't have happen on a run to a Super Bowl, which is lose your quarterback. But we'll get into that. We'll get into a little bit of Formula One, a little bit of NASCAR All-Star Race, plus whatever you guys want to talk about. 774-992-8702. Give us a call. If you want the audio-only stream, I don't think I put it in the description tonight, but it's I'll put it up here I'll put it in a pinned comment right here so that you can see it.
Yeah, pin it up so that way people can watch without tying up all your Facebook and all that fun stuff or whatever. Figured you probably already had done that, but
I meant to put it in the description, but it's been acting weird.
What's so weird?
Facebook's just been acting weird when you put links in the descriptions.
Huh.
Yeah, it's just odd. I don't know. It's just like, it keeps giving me like this query error, and I'm like, huh? And I don't know. I just didn't like it, so I didn't put it in.
Oh well.
I just decided against it today. So yeah. So we'll do it on there. It's also on the bottom of the screen in the ticker too, if you want to just look at it, and you can see it's pretty easy. Mixlr, mixlr.com/Joey-Fats. So you can check that out over there. Doesn't make you download anything or anything like that. All you got to do is just go to the website and click Listen Live, and you don't have to tie up your phone with Facebook Live. So before we get into the sports stuff, Paul, there was this. So there's this video going around.
Yeah.
And you heard it in our intro, the Chris Rock, Will Smith saga drama, if you will.
It's back up.
It's back. There is a video going around. It's a clip from a movie, and I don't know what the movie was. I Googled it and couldn't find it.
It looks like from the 80s or something.
Yeah, it looks
old,
like late 80s, early 90s, something like that.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
It's basically exactly what happened. Like, the guy's making fun of the guy's wife. The guy's on stage making fun of the guy's wife.
Right.
He walks up on stage. He slaps him. The guy even says, "Oh, so-and-so just slapped the heck out of me."
Right,
Like, even down to the words, and I'm just like, all right. I'm like, this is starting to get a little bit too coincidental.
Right. And now it's like, and you almost start to think like with today's technology and what people do today to like fake stuff and make things up. It's like, could you have recreated something like that post the Will Smith just to make it seem like more of a conspiracy?
Maybe,
but because I've never heard of the movie and never seen the movie before, the one that's
I just
referred.
I just keep seeing the clip popping up on like TikTok and Facebook.
Yeah,
and
I don't know what movie
all that
it's
stuff.
from.
I have
but
no idea.
It's verbatim, dude. Almost like right down to the exact things that they said. Maybe a little different here and there. You know what I mean?
But it was like eerily close.
Yeah, and I was like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, please let this come out and surface that it was all a fucking hoax. You
But
know what
why?
I mean?
But you would have to wonder though, like why would Will Smith willingly like do that and get himself fucked out of all these roles and potential roles and stuff just to make a gag? Like I don't get it. What's the end game there? You
Right.
know what I mean?
What's the cut on Will Smith's part?
Yeah, exactly.
You know
like,
what I'm saying?
What is this? What's going on
He's
here?
taking this diving for what? You know?
Yeah, like did he owe somebody something? Like, is this him like paying back the devil? Like, I don't know.
Maybe he's got a gambling problem or something like that. I don't know.
Maybe he's the one that's been fucking around on Jada all this time, and
you never know.
You never know. Maybe he's just like he had to do it so she wouldn't take him for half. I don't know.
I know, right?
I don't know. I don't understand like where this came from, but it was eerie. I wish I had the clip because it was like I'll post it up to the Row One Seat One page later on, and we'll post it. But it was eerily similar.
Right. If anybody's got any information on this movie or
please.
knows any more, please hit us up and let us know.
Post it up in the chat or give us a call or whatever. But
yeah.
It's because it's super strange. Like it's so like the dialogue is almost dead ass.
David said he heard it was a parody of the incident. So this was filmed or
so this
made
was done
afterwards.
after. Okay.
But it made it look like it was an old
That's
school
what I'm
movie.
saying.
That's
what I looked. My wife showed it to me earlier, and I was like, "Huh." I'm like, because like that would be like too coincidental.
That's what I'm saying. But it's filmed like as if it's older. That's why I'm saying I'm like it wouldn't put it past me these days if somebody recreated something to be like, look, conspiracy.
Yeah, deepfakes are a real thing. I mean,
right.
People like talk about Photoshop and like how like the images of females and stuff are photoshopped and this and that.
Yeah.
You can do the same thing with with video now. Like that technology's been around for quite some time.
Right. CGI's come a long fucking way.
I remember South Park doing a whole episode about it. So,
right.
Nonetheless, we'd like to know what the hell that is.
Right.
So
if it's confirmed that it's a parody or somebody made it over or whatever.
Yes.
Just let us know.
774-992-8702. So, Paul, let's start off with your Celtics. They take Game 4 last night in embarrassing fashion for the Miami Heat. This series sucks so far.
I'm not really – I don't know what to make of it. You know what I'm saying? It's like Jimmy Butler goes out, we can't fucking win a game. Jimmy Butler's in, Marcus Smart's out, we fucking dominate him by almost 30 – what was the major lead? I think
it was up to 30 at
34,
one point.
we were almost at like 40 points. It was 37, I think, at
the
one
Heat scored 7 points in the first quarter.
I know. I'm like –
7. That's like the least amount in a playoff game since like 1970 or something.
Dude, I was just watching the Celtics just tick, 4, 6, 7. When they got to 9-0, I'm like – what the fuck is going on?
Miami going to score here?
Yeah, everything was
out.
out.
They had 1 point until 3 minutes left in the quarter.
I know.
They played almost 9 whole minutes.
Adebayo was fucking nowhere to be found, dude. Jimmy Butler couldn't drop shit.
They didn't even score a basket. They got 1 free throw.
They missed the free. Yeah, I think it was Adebayo. No, it was the other kid there. He's lighting shit up.
PJ Tucker?
No.
Lowry?
Nope. The other guy, short hair.
I have no idea.
Tall, skinny kid. I forget his name because they're looking or some shit like that. I'm trying to,
Oladipo.
Oladipo, thank you.
Vic.
Oladipo, I think he sank 1 free throw, and that was the entire first quarter.
Like for 9 minutes, that was it. They scored 6 more points after that. So this whole fucking thing, so obviously we talked about it last week. Like Celtics fans suck. Green teamers are the fucking worst. Like you people are fucking nauseating.
You don't mean you people as like this. There's a fucking line around me about 3 feet out.
You're not a green teamer.
I'm not a.
There's a difference. There's a difference between Celtics fans and green teamers. Okay. You have your Celtics fans who are your normal, average, diehard fans, can be diehards, but they they also understand, like, oh, okay,
Marcus Smart's a flopper.
you know,
I hate
this,
it.
yeah, this is, you know, this team is beatable. Then you have your green teamers that just sit there and convince themselves in every single way, shape, or form that this is the greatest team of all time. This team's better than the '96 Bulls. We're better than the 2008 team.
Yeah.
We're better than everybody. We're gonna win there. We're gonna win championships. We're never gonna lose a game again. Golden State, we're gonna beat them in 4. We're gonna sweep them. I'm like, wait, what? Like,
come
stop.
on.
And those are also the same people that every single, you know, you're up by 26 in the fourth quarter of an elimination game in Game 7, and you're bitching about the refs. Those are also the green teamers.
Right.
So you gotta separate. There's a distinction to be made between green teamers and regular Celtics fans. Now, those lines tend to get blurred sometimes
Of course,
by
they
a
mix.
lot of them, and they mix. There's a lot of mixing. However, I will give a pass to some of the actual Celtics fans out there, even though I believe they're becoming more far and few between, because I feel like the green teamers, especially the deeper you get into the season, into a postseason, it just gets so bad. It just gets so bad. It gets so ridiculous, and they have no ability to separate reality from their fantasy. Like, I remember I was leaving work the other day, and you know, they were down 0-1. And Game 2 happened, and they won Game 2 in blowout fashion, as has been, you know, the usual for this series. And it went from the refs suck, the season's over, fuck this, we're not winning shit, to we're not losing again. We're never losing another game. We're gonna sweep the Golden State Warriors. Like, we're gonna win 7 more games. We're gonna win 7 out of our next 7, and we're gonna end this season on a 7-game winning streak. It's like, what? Like,
25 turnovers later.
Yeah, and then they go to Game 3 happens, and it's 25 turnovers, and Jimmy Butler goes down, and they still fucking manage to blow it and lose.
Yep.
And that's the thing, too. And let's talk a little bit about Game 3 as well, because Game 3 summarized exactly everything I hate about Boston, its fans, the Celtics, this team, whatever, everything. I mean, this game had a little bit of everything. Can we please... I'm not even going to ask. I'm just going to tell you. I don't ever want to hear a Celtics fan criticize any other player, primarily LeBron James, for either exaggerating an injury, flopping, or doing anything of the sort. What Jason Tatum did in Game 3 was downright despicable.
I was so
I
pissed.
have never ever seen a softer, more pathetic display from somebody who just a couple hours earlier people were trying to put him in the top 5 in the league conversation.
Dude, I want Tatum to be the dude. I want him to be our guy. And, like, as much as I love Tatum, just the inconsistency this whole series has just, like, really turned me off to, like, thinking that maybe this dude's going to, like, he's going to solidify himself as a Celtics main guy. You know what I mean? I'm more of a Jaylen Brown fan at this point than I am Tatum. You know what I'm saying?
Jaylen Brown's kind of a...
Dude's a fucking gangster, bro.
He's a baller.
He's killing it, dude. And, like, yeah, Tatum's little shoulder flop thing, along with, I don't know, missing probably 85% of the shots he's been taking. Don't quote me on that, but I'm just sitting there looking at...
It's up there.
I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Like, let's get this shit together. Like, one night he's hot. Next night he fucking turns it over 17 fucking times.
Right.
I'm like, dude, let's find some fucking consistency here. I mean... God forbid, like, Horford shows up. You know what I mean? Smart shows up. I mean, fuck, even Pritchard shows up and drops fucking threes when we need him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but Tatum is just, he's lacking that star power that we all thought he was going to have for the Boston Celtics. I mean, right now.
It's not to say that he's never going to achieve that level.
Right.
But if you're sitting here, if that's the guy, like, Kobe Bryant never ever would have laid down and faked a shoulder injury like that just to come out of the game, just to come running back out to get everybody all fired up like he did.
Right.
Like Marcus Smart, it's like Marcus Smart did it. Marcus Smart did it earlier in the game, and Sean Grandy on the broadcast said, "Oh, you're shades of 2008 with Paul Pierce," and I wanted to fucking puke.
Me too, dude. I was like, shut the fuck up.
Like, can y'all Boston fans stop talking about Paul Pierce coming back out of the tunnel with his fake knee injury that didn't happen? Like, oh, shades of 2008. Shades of what? A non-existing injury?
Right.
Like, what are we supposed to suck this guy off now because he looked like he got hurt and then he came back and gritting balls and blah, blah, blah. Like, bro, you got rolled up on. You know how many times I've been rolled up on like that, my ankle playing basketball? Like, I played fucking youth league, Dartmouth youth league basketball. That probably happened like 3 times a week.
A game, yeah.
You know what I mean? You just got up and you went back and you played.
Right. I mean, Smart, I got to give it to him. I thought the same kind of thing when I saw, like, the Paul Pierce thing and he ran off and shit like that. I'm like, oh, fuck off. Like, here we go. Then I saw the replay and his fucking ankle was folded like a piece of origami. And I'm like, oh, shit, that's bad.
I think it obviously looked worse than it was, but
Right.
that happens with every injury. You know what injuries scare me the most? The ones where you can't really tell on the replay what happened.
Yeah.
And there are non-contact injuries. And
Those
you're like,
are pop,
oh,
snaps,
yeah,
things like that.
those are when things go seriously wrong.
Right.
This was just another fucking example of just Marcus Smart. And I'm not saying Marcus Smart was as bad as Tatum. It wasn't. He actually could have just been like, oh, my God, I broke my ankle, got up, went to the back, tried it out, and said, hey, you know what? I think we got lucky here.
Right, it was a little stinger or something like that.
Yep,
And he
comes running back. But, like, it wasn't so much the fact that he left and came back. It was just the way it all happened.
Yeah, I mean,
It was like this big grandiose thing, and you're just
Paul,
like,
think about it, dude. What happened
rolling
back in
my
the 80s,
eyes.
dude? Larry Bird did it, but his was fucking real. You know what I'm
but
saying?
Larry Bird was in the hospital the night before the game.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So, like, everybody thinks, like, this, like, injury thing and rushing back out of the tunnel, like, yeah, it's like a Boston thing. And I'm like, nah, it's not. Like, cut the shit with that. You look like a bunch of fucking idiots.
Seriously,
you know what I mean? Like,
you look like and then you start like groveling over these guys about it. It's like, dude, get a life,
yeah,
bro.
I wasn't really a fan of it. I'm just not a fan of the new NBA and the injuries and the flopping and shit like that. I don't give a shit who it is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't care who the fuck it is.
I'm the same way. Listen, I still blame Manu Ginobili for making flopping like a regular occurrence in the NBA. You know, with his soccer mentality coming over here from fucking Argentina and just, you know, being like, this is how we do it. We make the flop, we sell the foul.
Right.
And now it's just become like an epidemic in the league. And I know they tried to like make rules and stuff to like, you know, legislate flopping out. And they're like, if you flop, you can get called.
Oh, they
for
called
attack.
Smart on it once. They called Smart, I think, game 3 or something. He oversold it, and I was like, fuck off, dude. I'm like, get the fuck up.
I mean, but even like Mike Lowry oversold one the other night. Like he went sliding down the fucking wood.
Oh, yeah.
And like he was like spinning around and shit. And we're like, all right, bro.
Easy,
like,
bro.
Take it easy, will you?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
The
And
replay-
I like Lowry. He's not bad. He's not a bad player.
I mean,
like
I
him,
don't
but-
like him because obviously he's on the Heat, and I know for a fact if he turns it on, he's a serious fucking problem. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just-
If the Heat play their best ball, they're a problem. The problem with the Heat, though, and we'll leave Jason Tatum alone here for a second, and we'll talk a little bit of the actual basketball on the court. The problem the Miami Heat have is they can't score. Their offense, especially if Jimmy Butler's off, their offense just goes completely stagnant.
Right.
And they have nobody that can create their own shot and do what they got to do to score the basketball. Like they are just all pick and rolls, movement, pick and roll, move, pass. Nobody wants to take a shot.
Right.
And it's just wait until you're open. And if that's why I don't think Miami is going to win this series. And I still think the Celtics are going to win this. You know, I've seen enough in the last 4 games to know that, okay, Miami's been clinging. They clung to game 3. And, you know, they probably should have lost game 3 without Jimmy Butler. But the Celtics just choked it away and blew it and absolutely just embarrassed themselves on their home court in a game 3 where this series would have been over. You know, we'd be talking about going to Miami tomorrow night and it's a wrap.
That's it, dude. Yeah.
But instead, we're talking about a game 5 now in a tied series. So you got a best of 3 here with 2 of them being on the road. I still think Boston wins this. They'll probably win it in 7. I don't see the Heat haven't shown me enough to say, okay,
right.
I'm comfortable picking them.
Right.
Because they shouldn't have won game 3. Let's be honest. This series should be 3-1 right now.
Yeah, probably.
You lose Jimmy Butler, you shouldn't be winning that game. How they won that, I think the Celtics more blew that than
25
the Heat.
turnovers.
Than
That's
the Heat
how they
won.
fucking
Right.
won it.
And so I just don't think Miami's offensively is good enough to beat Boston 4 out of 7 times.
Right.
That being said, whichever one of these teams gets to the finals is getting absolutely smoked. I mean, dubs in 3.
Yeah.
And I know I say that, about jokingly a lot, but seriously though, dubs in 3.
Yeah.
Like it's not even going to be fun.
If like I said, the Celtics, they're just too inconsistent right now. When they're playing and they're on, dude, I'm watching. I'm like, God damn, dude, the block shots, the steals, the defense that the fucking Celtics have. I'm watching, I'm like, God damn, this is sick. It's crazy fun to watch them just absolutely dominate when that's the team that shows up that night. Unfortunately, you never know which fucking team you're getting that night, which is why, honestly, I don't think the Celtics beat the Heat. I don't think they go to the finals, and I think the Warriors are going to smash the Heat. That's just,
I think whoever gets, like I said, no matter what, it doesn't matter. Whoever gets to the finals, the Warriors are winning it.
yeah.
I mean,
I think if the Celtics play their best ball, they could give
If they
the
play their-
Warriors,
if they-
but they can't. They
but
have
they-
to be consistent.
right. That's the problem with the Celtics. They're too inconsistent.
They're too inconsistent to win.
And that's one thing about these playoffs have showed us. It's just it's so predictable.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's just so predictable. Okay, Giannis without Chris Middleton. You know, like Durant pointed out a couple weeks ago or 2 weeks ago on the show. You know, no team wins a series without one of their top three scorers being all three of their top three scorers being on the court or top two scorer, whatever it was.
Right.
And it's held true. And you know, this series with Miami and Boston, I mean, this is just boring basketball. It's just there's no drama. It's just uninspired. It's just blowout, exchanging blowouts.
Yeah.
I mean, the most excitement we had was watching the Celtics try to claw back into Game 3 without Jimmy Butler on the court.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, that was it.
They got to fucking give me. You know what I mean? They got to give me with Jimmy Butler going out. I'm like, how are you guys?
And they couldn't capitalize on it.
You couldn't capitalize on Jimmy Butler not being on the court, and that's a fucking huge problem, dude. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be able to capitalize.
That's a game that we're going to, if the Heat do end up winning this series, that's
go.
the game we're going to look back at and say,
Yep. Yeah, you guys came within 3 with like 2 minutes left.
That was the
break.
opportunity, right? That was your missed opportunity, and this is why you're not in
at
the finals.
home nonetheless. You know what I'm saying? At home, how the fuck you gonna drop a gimme like that?
How
You're at
embarrassing!
Home. Butler's there. You're gonna choose that game. To
Mike
give up
Lowry
25?
was living rent free in Jason Tatum's head to the point where he made him fake an injury,
right?
So he could just try to get off the court for a minute and then try to be the hero and come back in with 3 minutes left.
Yeah,
here
get
he
the crowd
comes.
wound up and all that shit. I mean, listen, I want the Celtics to win just as bad as an ex-Celtics fan or whatever, but I just don't. I don't know.
I was watching with one of my buddies the other night, and he was just like, Al Horford goes in, makes a layup, and they're down like 21, and Al Horford's like in the crowd beating his chest and flexing. We're like, all right, like I get what you're trying to do, but knock it off.
Right.
Like,
if that was
stop.
a layup after you just finished like a 20 to like 6-point run and came back within like 3 points or something, yeah, I can see it. You're swinging the momentum and you're bringing your team back to almost take the lead, but you guys were down on a motherfucker. You should probably keep focusing on what you got to do.
I mean, I get what he was trying to do, but
right, just trying to get everybody pumped up.
It was like, dude, just wait till you get it. And I called that. I mean, that game was easy to call too.
Yeah,
I said to my boy, I said, if they can get it to 15 by the half, I said they're going to have a great shot at this, especially with Jimmy Butler being out. And they get it down. They go on a 10-0 run. They get it to 15 at the half.
Yeah.
I'm like, told you. And then, of course, then the lead just starts slipping away. And then they don't close at all in the third quarter. And you're like, what is going on? How are you still down 15 after 3 with Jimmy Buckets not on the floor?
I don't know.
It was an embarrassment. It was gross. I mean, if they win this series, whatever, all's well that ends well. But if they lose this series, bro, forget it.
Right.
Forget it. Like you're not going to recover from that. And then you're just, in my opinion, I think Tatum's not there yet. I don't know if he'll ever be there. Right. This might be as good as we're ever going to see him. But if he's that mentally soft that he's faking injuries and because Mike Lowry's living in his head rent free and he's struggling. I mean, he's the epitome of a front runner, right? Like when things are going good, he's out there banging down threes and hitting layups and cutting to the basket and, making things happen. When shit's not going well, he's nowhere to be found. It's Jaylen Brown.
Right.
You know what I mean? Marcus Smart that you're looking at, Al Horford. I'm just so unimpressed by Tatum.
Right. Dave, we know it's Kyle Lowry. We just say Mike Lowry because we like to go, Mike Lowry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just
Mike
it's just
Lowry.
a reference. Yeah.
It's a reference.
He goes, it's Kyle Lowry.
Sorry, yeah.
Say Bad Boys. I'm like, we know it's Kyle. We like to fuck around. And, you know what I mean?
Right.
If it's a movie reference, we use it.
I probably should have explained that before I said it.
I saw the thing and I was
times.
like, he doesn't know. All right, whatever.
It's Mike Lowry.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a reference. We don't call him by Kyle. He's Kyle Mike Lowry.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, it's just I don't know. I'm just so unimpressed with Tatum, dude.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I said, dude, I know he's young. He's been here, but I mean, the thing about Tatum, when you put when you put the whole team on a dude's back that young, you know what I mean? It's like I get you got Horford,
But
I get you got some vets.
They really didn't put the whole team on his back.
Tatum damn well knows he's a centerpiece of
but-
that team, and they've said it many times before
Sure,
that Tatum is the future of the Celtics.
He's
supposed to be.
He's the center of the team, whatever. The centerpiece of the team. But like you said, you've got Al Horford, you have Jaylen Brown, you have Marcus Smart, you have young guys.
Right.
You know, like it's not like they're asking him like, hey. It's not like when LeBron was in Cleveland and they were like, all right, here's Anderson Varejao, and we'll sign you an aging Shaq. Go win us a championship, LeBron.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not like that. It's
right.
still they're still putting pieces around him and trying.
Right.
But it's just it's wild, dude. Like, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Celtics dropped Game 5 and put themselves in a bad spot because typically, I mean, the Celtics right now, I think last night made them 5-0. In the playoffs after following a loss. So, they don't come out and they don't lose 2 in a row.
Right.
The problem is that when they win, they usually come out flat the next game and give it up. So
right.
I could see this one just kind of going back and forth
until the Heat just win it.
Until you know
what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't know if I'm too confident in the Celtics right now winning against Miami. Just like
I still think it's going to be Boston. I don't, obviously.
I hope so.
I just hope for the fans' sake, for our sake, the next 3 games are entertaining.
Right.
I don't want to see even if it's the Heat winning it, I don't want to see a 25-point blowout. That just bores the shit out of me.
True. I mean, I don't mind it if it's, like, all right, we're up by 25. This is Game 6 or Game 5. We're up 3, up 3-1, or we're up and it's an elimination game.
Right.
But I like to see close games, man. I mean, it's just more fun that way. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
it's not like I'm gonna go putting my head through a fucking wall if the Celtics lose or something like that. But it's almost like the Bruins, dude. It's like once they're done, it's like, all right, see you fucking next year. Call me when the playoffs come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you, but at the same time, too, though, like I want to. You always want to see your team do well. Like it's just.
Right.
It's part of what you want. It's why we watch.
But there's blowouts on both sides, too. It's West Coast as well. I mean, Luka comes out the Golden State fucking got their ass beat by what, like 30 fucking points or something one game? What was it, a couple games ago?
You mean Dallas? No, Golden State's up 3-0.
Right. Golden State got their ass beat.
Oh, well, they had a couple games against Memphis where they struggled.
Oh, was it Memphis?
Yeah.
Oh, that
And John
right.
and them. There was some games.
Was that the game? I thought it was that. See, I haven't watched any of the West Coast shit, dude.
That series was wildly entertaining.
Yeah, I haven't watched any West Coast shit, so I forget who the fuck the Golden State Warriors played. But I knew they got their ass clowned on in one game, and they were like, "What the fuck?"
I mean, it happens. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you get in the playoffs, and these are good teams. You can't really afford to have a misstep.
Right.
And if you do, and sometimes it's just an avalanche, and there's nothing you can do to stop it.
Right.
Joey Fats Radio, roll on C1.
Hey!
Oh, Jesus, it's fucking this kid.
What up?
What's up?
Yo!
I just want to say about eliminations, I get eliminated in the bedroom all the time.
No.
Facts.
I don't know what it is. Either I come too quick or something.
Well, maybe if your balls dropped.
I know. I don't know what to do.
You are the sole reason why I hope Roe versus Wade doesn't get overturned.
You don't know what to do. Call your doctor. I don't know.
Oh, my doctor tugs it too much.
He tugs it too much?
Yeah.
Does he do the 2-finger check?
Yeah, my bum.
Yep. That's always my favorite one.
Yeah, and then he smells it after. I don't know why.
Does he taste it?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Well, I missed you guys.
Well, we missed you too.
We missed you too. I know. Where's all the monkey sounds and all the fucking whack shit in the background with all your boys?
They're dead.
Oh, good. I'm fucking around, but no, seriously though. I mean, like, where's all your homeboys at? It's kind of quiet back there. You're scaring me.
I'm kind of locked in some random dude's basement.
Oh, but you have a phone?
Yeah.
And you called us? Damn, bro. All right.
That's commitment.
I like that, man.
That's
Out of all the
riding.
people
On County Street.
on County Street.
That's riding for the cause right there.
I know. Well, I'm glad that you called us instead of 911, man.
You guys got a free Fortnite kid.
Got a free what?
Fortnite kid, hashtag.
Oh, Fortnite kid?
Fortnite kid.
This guy's gonna touch me in the butthole.
Word.
Show us on the doll where the mean man hurt.
Okay. All right, I love you guys.
Love you too, dog. Later, bro.
Later.
All right. We haven't heard from Fortnite kid in a minute.
Yeah. I was, like I said, it's a little weird, man. He doesn't have all his boys in the background yelling, whooping it the fuck up and shit.
My allergies. I was just saying, I'll tell the listeners too before the show. I was telling Paul, I was wondering out loud this morning, like, I was saying to myself in my car when I'm looking at all the pollen on my windshield and I was getting ready to leave.
That yellow hue.
And I'm just like, man, this is the latest into the spring that I've gone in a long time without having like a really bad day allergy-wise. And fast forward 6 hours and here we are. And my nose is just beyond aggravated.
Fucked.
Yeah, I mean, I tried everything, dude. The hot shower, I was snorting water like it was fucking cocaine. Trying to just clear my sinuses. It works a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's allergy season, and then just got to suck it up and deal with it.
If you can, if you're like me the other day.
Yo, you were that was insane.
I wish I had a picture you could throw up there.
This dude looked like he had two black eyes. It was fucking wild.
Yeah, it was fucked.
774-992-8702 is the phone number if you want to give us a call. We're talking Celtics game 3-4, Eastern Conference Finals. Obviously, I'm rolling with the Golden State Warriors to win it all here. The Warriors got 5 more games to win. I think they get it done in the next 6 games. I think they'll sweep Dallas, move on to the finals, and I think it'll be a gentleman's sweep in the finals.
Yeah, you're going to give Boston 1?
I'll give Boston 1
or Miami,
whomever. Just because there'll be one night where, like, the Warriors will shoot like 13% or something like that.
Right. Curry will fuck up.
They'll just struggle a little bit.
Yeah.
And then it'll just be all over after that. And
right.
They'll probably come out and fucking break some sort of postseason record that we probably already assumed he broke, but didn't. So
right.
But before we move on to Josh Donaldson and the Jackie Robinson drama, I just wanted to give a shout out to our boys over at the Grip and Sip Invitational.
Oh shit!
We had ourselves a great ass time yesterday at this golf tournament up in Canton, Brook Meadow Country Club. It was fucking awesome. Always for a good cause.
Nice spot, too. Nice course. It's
in
very, very good shape. If you're up in the Canton area and you never heard of Brook Meadow, go there. It's a nice spot.
It was a really cool spot. I'm very happy we got to do that. So shout out to Kyle and Pat for putting that on again.
Yeah, love those guys.
That was dope. It was good. Yeah, it's good to get out there with everybody. And
oh yeah.
It also helps when I was absolutely piping my driver yesterday, which doesn't happen very often for me. So it's when it goes straight and I'm like, huh.
Yeah.
That's not usually how that's supposed to work, but anybody who's played golf with me knows that if I hit my driver straight, something is either drastically wrong or something's going very right.
Yeah, we don't know which one yet.
We're not sure. We'll let you know. We'll keep you posted on my my. You see, my driver, it usually just slices to the right.
Right, but you play it so far to the left that most of the time you end up in the middle of the fairway.
Yeah, but it takes about 70 yards off of what I could probably do. Like, I'm buzzing the tower on the left just to try to keep it, just on the right side of the fairway.
Yeah.
So it was nice to not have to constantly shoot from the right side of the fairway yesterday.
Yeah,
it was. But fun time. We had a good group.
Yep.
Great group of people that was there too.
Shout out to Squeef and Nick for holding it down.
Yep.
For the chip shot and the putting and stuff for us for sure.
Yeah, Squeefy with some clutch putts for birdie yesterday.
Even some chips, dude. Keith came to play. He was supposed to be there to round out the numbers. A motherfucker showed up.
Right. We bring him there just because we needed a fourth. We're like, all right, fine, you can play with us. We guess. Yeah. And ends up fucking being the star of the show.
Drains a 30-footer, fucking off the rough, all that. I was like, damn, all right, bro.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yep.
Yeah, I was fun. I love best ball tournaments are just the best.
Dude. I love scrambles, dude. So much fun.
They are the best. There is the Eric Fernandez Memorial one's coming up Friday, July 1st, I believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's it's the Friday before the 4th of July. I think 4th of July is on the Sunday, so it's either the 1st, it's the 2nd.
Yeah.
I think it's July 2nd. Unfortunately, we won't be able to make that one this year because it's on a Friday instead of a Monday, like it should be.
Yeah, thanks.
So
thanks, shitties.
You, me, Keith, and Nick all have to work. And Kyle, rather, all work doubles on Fridays. We're like, cool, dude. Like, why the fuck would you move it to a Friday?
Well, you know what? We probably should have fucking won that tournament last year anyway, so it's probably a blessing that we can't show up to all the other teams,
It's a blessing for them, sure.
It's a blessing for them.
Yeah, because I don't know if we would have won it, but we were damn close.
Yeah.
I mean, we were, 12 under?
Yeah,
we finished
dude.
12 under last year. That
We
was
don't buy no goddamn shots either. We don't buy no mulligans. We don't go spending, we don't pool $500 together to get 30 mulligans so your score's like, in the
Negative
fucking
26,
30s.
yeah.
Yeah. Fuck out of here with that. I just hold out from $1.17 for Eagle and shit. You know what I mean? That's what I do.
that was fucking sick.
Yeah, it was.
It's fucking sick. 774-992-8702. Let's talk a little bit about this Josh Donaldson thing here. So, for those of you that don't know, let me see if I can actually pull up the audio of it.
Yeah, this is this like this isn't a one-time thing, right? This has happened, I think a few, or he claims that it's been a few times since he's been referred to, and if I'm not mistaken, weren't you saying something earlier about how he referred to himself?
Yes. So, let me see if I can pull this up here. I don't know if I'll be able to get if I'll actually be able to get the video to work.
Yeah, I'm not. Oh, you got to pull it from there, yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to find.
I haven't seen the video either, so it's audible. You can hear him call him it or anything like that. I didn't know.
Well, yeah. How about we just play the audio? We'll just do that. We'll see if we can just play the audio for you.
Yeah.
So let's give him a little bit of a heads up. So basically, what happened was Josh Donaldson referred to Tim Anderson as Jackie, as in Jackie Robinson.
Right.
Yeah, he referred to Tim Anderson, who plays for the White Sox. He's an excellent player. He's batting like a shade under 360 right now.
Damn, really?
He's killing it. He's a great young player. A couple of years ago, he referred to himself as, he said, I'm going to be the next Jackie Robinson. He changed the game. Now I'm going to change the game, or something to that effect. Called himself Jackie Robinson, which everybody who knows anything about baseball and anybody who's big into baseball knows that Jackie Robinson's name is off limits. Like, you do not speak ill of, make a mockery of, take his name in vain. You just don't do it with Jackie Robinson.
Baseball
because
Jesus.
He went through hell to get to where he was and do what he did. And he broke down, obviously, the color barrier. He became, everybody knows the whole Jackie Robinson story.
Right.
There's a reason why the whole number's retired across the, they wear his number every year on Jackie Robinson Day. Everybody wears.
Right. And if
42.
people don't know, Major League Baseball's color barrier back in the day was quite strong.
It was
It was a thick wall.
It was not a good time to be a minority trying to play baseball. Jackie Robinson bulldozed that wall down. He did great things for the game, obviously. And then Tim Anderson kind of compared himself to that and said, I'm going to be the next Jackie Robinson. And everybody just kind of scoffed, like, who the fuck does this dude think he is? Great player, but, bro, compare yourself to Barry Bonds or Ken Griffey or literally anybody else, because you're comparing yourself to a guy, and I don't know if he was comparing himself like in terms of his ability to play.
He had to have been, because if he's referring to him in any other way, Jackie Robinson, like you said, is known for breaking the color barrier. Sorry, bro, it's already been done. So you changing the game like Jackie, it's been done, so you can't.
You can't.
So why are you saying that you're gonna?
Right. You literally can't do
what he did.
What Jackie Robinson did. It's already been done.
It's impossible.
And it can only be done once.
Once.
So he refers to himself as Jackie Robinson. So, Josh Donaldson, professional agitator, professional, douchebag. If he's one of those guys, if he's not on your team, you probably hate him.
You were saying that people don't like this guy.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were talking about people don't like, what's his name?
Tim Anderson.
Tim Anderson. Oh, see, I only saw this real quick, and I scrolled by because I was tired of shit this morning. I was like, oh, fuck, another race bait and bullshit issue. You know what I mean? Then I'm probably just not going to pay attention to it.
Yeah, so it basically came out, and so there was a benches clearing brawl. Josh Donaldson and Tim Anderson went at it. The benches cleared, and Tony La Russa, who just as dishonest and low down fashion as you could get, said in the post game presser, it was he used a racial slur towards Tim Anderson, and that's why he got mad. And it's like, no, he didn't. And the thing is, La Russa knows that's not what happened. He knows that he knows the history of this whole thing, and yet he still chose to go there.
Right.
He still chose to make it about race. Everybody knows it wasn't a racist comment. Everybody knows it wasn't. But that's what we do nowadays.
Yep.
When we don't like somebody or we disagree with them, we label them a racist and then force them to go on the defensive and prove to everybody that they're not.
Right.
Because it's the easiest way to just accuse somebody of doing something and
of course,
and smear their name.
Right. I want a picture with a mascot, God forbid. I'm a fucking racist.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
people who don't know Josh Donaldson, and Stephen A. Smith even said it, the professional race hustler himself.
That's bad. That's
even
bad.
Stephen A. Smith was like, yeah, this had nothing to do with race. Y'all are injecting race into this.
Right.
Because you need to make it to sell clicks and TV spots and whatever it is that you want to do. But just listen to Josh Donaldson add some context here. See if we can get the audio up here. Hold on.
I was going to say it's already.
Of that.
Oh,
2000. All right, so
Restart.
first inning I called him Jackie. So let me give you a little context of that. 2019, he came out with an interview, said that he's the new Jackie Robinson of baseball. He's going to bring back fun for the game, right? And 2019, when I played for Atlanta, we actually joked about that on the game. I don't know what's changed and I've said it to him in years past, not in any manner than just joking around for the fact that he called himself Jackie Robinson, So, if something has changed from that, like my meaning of that is not at any term trying to be racist by any fact of the matter. It was just off of an interview what he called himself. And when we said that before, we joked about it. He laughed, whatever. As you could tell in our series that we've played, there's been multiple times where I've tried to diffuse the situation. Like I took responsibility for the tag, wasn't trying to do anything there. Like today, just trying to diffuse it. Like, hey, like make light. Like, hey, we're not trying to start any brawls or anything like that. Obviously, he deemed that it was disrespectful. And look, if he did, I apologize. Like that's not what I was trying to do by any manner. And that's really that's what happened.
So there you have it. I mean, that's Josh Donaldson's side of things. And to me, it sounds like, listen, I don't know anything about Josh Donaldson, but my default position most of the time is not to just assume somebody is a racist.
Right.
I assume that most people are not, that they just either don't care or they don't have enough time they don't waste their time on hating somebody based on the color of their skin.
Right, worrying about it.
And Josh Donaldson is a professional agitator. That's what he does. There's a lot of people that he rubs the wrong way. He's arrogant, he's abrasive, all those things. So what it sounds like, and he references the tag in there. If you go back and watch the tag, he landed, he went to tag, I think it was Anderson when he overran third base or something like that, went to tag him out and did it in a manner. It was almost very D Wade, Rondo, break your arm kind of thing. There was something about it that was, less than ideal. Let's put it that way.
It looked like an aggressive tag.
Yeah, it looked really aggressive, and it could have hurt somebody, and you don't do that. Whatever. This whole Jackie Robinson thing, referring to him as Jackie, like, hey, Jackie, okay, Jackie. That's like when you have that friend in your friend group that nicknames himself Diesel, and you're like, yeah, no, that's not happening. Like, it is now officially your duty to call him Poopsie or something like that.
Right,
you know what I mean? Like,
or Vin.
Yeah. Or just
Vin.
or just something way worse, like Fluffy, or just something, you know what I mean? Like, you don't just get to anoint yourself. Yeah, I want everybody to just start calling me Diesel because I'm fucking called Diesel, bro. It's
Right.
Yeah, that's not how nicknames work, bro. We give you the nicknames.
Right.
You see how this goes?
Yeah.
So when you have somebody that calls himself that, and that's arrogant as shit. I mean, to sit there and say, I'm going to be the next Jackie Robinson, for whatever reason that he decided to anoint himself that, it's just yeah, maybe you should have used somebody else.
Right.
There probably was a better example there.
Right.
And I'm not saying you got to hold it against Tim Anderson. It's not like he said something. You're like, oh my God, this fucking asshole. He desecrated. You may as well just taking a shit on his grave.
Right.
It's like no. It was just a little bit outlandish and maybe a little misplaced. But as an agitator, as somebody who's on the other team attempting to get under your skin, yeah, I'm gonna call you Jackie. Has nothing to do with race or anything like that. You told everybody, I'm the next Jackie Robinson. Okay, Jackie.
Right.
Like, I'm going to say that sarcastic as shit to you every chance I get.
Time, exactly.
Just to throw you off your game. Like, that's all this was. That's all it was. But you have these people out there, that's what everybody does these days, is they need to make something out of nothing.
Right.
And they just have to have it that way. They have to make sure that, because, everybody's going to get on their fucking Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, whatever platform they choose, and opine about it and tell everybody, like, oh, this is wrong. Racism has no place in our game. It's like, yeah, we know racism has no place in our game. Like, we don't need you to fucking say it.
Yeah, you're not telling us anything we don't already fucking know,
yeah,
dude.
like, so what are you lecturing me, like, about racism? Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, get off your fucking high horse, first of all.
Right.
And second of all, like, we know, and you saying racism has no place in this game, based off of this example, like this incident,
right,
that does nothing because there was no racism involved.
Right.
That's like me walking into NASA and just being like, racism has no place here. And they're like, yeah, we know. Okay.
The fuck does that have to do with anything?
I just want to make sure everybody's clear. Like,
yeah.
What? Yeah, okay, get the fuck out of here. Like, we know. Shut up. Like,
right.
Go away. But that's just what everybody does. They got to get out there. And then Tony La Russa kind of made it worse. When he said it in the post game, when they asked him about it post game, what was said, or what do you think was said? What do you think about what was said? And he said it was a racial slur. It wasn't. He knew that, but he was just being dishonest because he was probably mad because he doesn't like Josh Donaldson, or that, I forget if they won that series or lost that game or whatever it was. But he didn't sound overly happy in the post game presser, regardless. Right. But he was probably just coming off as an asshole. Like, yeah, he's an asshole. But it's like, dude, by doing that, you kind of make it worse for everybody because we know that you're being dishonest. You know that you're being dishonest, yet you're going with it anyway.
Right.
And that's part of the problem, is that when you take, racism, and it's like the demand for racism is so much higher than the supply, that people like Jussie Smollett, they have to make these things up.
Oh, of course.
They've got to manufacture this shit.
Yeah, I see that. Facts.
So they just come out and they got to make it up, and they got to make it about race when it's not.
Bubba Wallace.
They still have, right. Bubba Wallace, another great example. It just, stop making it something it's not. If you really do want to end racism and get rid of racism and have the conversation, but do it, in a manner that doesn't put the person that you're supposedly, that is supposedly doing the racist thing putting them right into a defensive position. Because all you're doing now is you're making that person double down. Right. So if they did say something that was actually racist, or they did do something that was actually racist, you are much less likely to now get that person to change their mind and act differently going forward, i.e. ridding the world of racism one person at a time, than you are if you come out and you just attack that person and you're a fucking asshole. They're going to go, fuck you, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
What does that have nothing to do with race?
Honestly, I kind of felt bad for that dude. You could hear it in his voice. You knew at that interview right there, the man was like literally trying to dig for the words to save his fucking job, bro. You know what I mean? Like the dude sitting up there, like being attacked. He's like, "All right, let me fucking refer to this, or let me like show you guys what this reference was about, where it came from, and why it was said in the first place."
Yeah.
And nobody, I bet you, probably very little to 0% of people even gonna fucking hear that.
Right, because because the only thing they're gonna hear, the only good thing, the thing is that like when you have like somebody like Stephen A. Smith come out and be like, "Yeah, this wasn't about racism. Stop making shit about racism that isn't." And just leave it alone.
Right.
And Stephen A. Smith even said it. He's like, I don't know who Josh Donaldson is. He's like, I don't follow baseball closely enough to know who Josh Donaldson is. So he's like, I had to ask people about him. And they told me he's a pretty, he's arrogant, he's this, he's that, he's an agitator, so on and so forth. He's like, but if I'm basing what I know off about Josh Donaldson, if I'm going to go off of just this incident and I'm going to base my whole opinion off him, he's like, I can't sit here and tell you that man's a racist.
Right.
He's like, this isn't enough. It's not, there's nothing here.
Yep.
And then, on the flip side of this, you have Rob Manfred, the biggest coward of all the commissioners.
Right.
I mean, we all know Rob Manfred hates his job. He doesn't want it. He doesn't want to be the MLB commissioner. He comes down with a 1-game suspension for Donaldson. And for what? Like, what are we talking about here? What is he being suspended for? Because someone else's feelings got hurt?
Right.
Or because he agitated somebody to the point where they acted out and it caused a brawl?
Right.
Like, no, there was no grounds in which to suspend Donaldson for.
Right.
So why are you doing it?
Right.
Because Rob Manfred is a fucking coward. There's a reason why when they tucked tail and ran and they moved the All-Star game out of Georgia last year.
Yeah.
Denying the city of Atlanta and the people that work there and live there $100 million in potential revenue.
Right.
And then they move it to Colorado, which, the reason they moved it out of Georgia was because of the whole voting rights thing.
Right.
The voting laws.
Voter ID law.
The voter ID law, which, by the way, I don't know if you've been paying attention to the Georgia primaries that are going on. It was election day in Georgia. Was it yesterday or today? And, they had record turnout. Record turnout.
Wow. In person.
So these new laws go into place, and they have record turnout.
Right.
Go figure.
Yeah, because maybe the people whose voice, maybe they're actually the people who should be voting in this country are.
Well, basically, because the only reason why people that were against the voting laws was because it's so funny to listen to white liberals tell you, like, oh, well, they don't, minorities, they shouldn't be required to get an ID. They don't know how to get an ID. Like, what are you saying? Black people are too stupid to go get an ID?
Well, yeah, dude, you didn't hear
what
about
the
it, man.
fuck? Like,
they're just as smart and whatever as white kids or whatever the fuck he said.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I forget. We butchered it, but he's a fucking asshole.
Yeah. Well, the thing. Like,
yeah.
But nonetheless, Manfred is just a coward. He's a total piece of shit. He's the worst commissioner in sports. I can't stand him. He does a terrible job with the MLB. Baseball should be one of, if not the most popular sport in this country. And, with the talent, based on the talent they have and what's going on with the leagues and everything else. And they just do nothing. They sit on their hands. Rob Manfred's just sitting there going, I can't fucking believe how much money I'm getting paid. And he's, like, actively trying to get fired. Like, he's George Costanzaing this whole thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's like, he's telling Steinbrenner to go fuck himself, and they're like, that you got to raise.
Now
he's
you're
like,
the GM.
Yeah, he's
fuck.
like, fuck. Like, I just want to be fired already, please.
Yeah. He's basically Mr. Garrisoning the Donald Trump election thing. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
Trying to lose, but people just keep getting on board,
My opponent is a narcissist, and you should not believe a word that he says. No, you don't. God, Jesus Christ, I'm trying to give you this.
Yeah, I know, right?
But no, it's speaking of which, South Park week from tomorrow.
Sick.
New special on Paramount Plus. Can't wait.
Word.
But Manfred's he's just a boob.
Yeah,
A total
one game
boob.
suspension for something that.
And I just don't understand what the suspension's for. Like, what are we suspending him based on? You know what I mean? Like, because now you're saying, I mean, I know leagues can basically suspend you for anything and everything and whatever they want, and it really doesn't matter. They can, the NFL, especially the NFL,
Right.
they can suspend you, and then you'll go. The NFLPA will fight it. They'll win, and they'll go, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm sure what the players are doing and what's written on paper, there's some sort of misconduct, probably almost every single second of the fucking day.
Oh, definitely.
You know what I mean? But it just, you kind of just pick and choose. This one obviously happens to be a nice hot spot for media and all that shit, given the racial.
It only got hot
dynamic
because
of it.
Tony La Russa had to say what he said.
Right.
Afterwards, I believe that was like Tony La Russa's the reason why it got taken to that spot.
Right.
And taken there. And that was just, on his part, that was just, it was dumb. It was dishonest. You're trying to smear this man's name, and, you could potentially ruin somebody's career and life by calling that, like, by making those claims. Like, that's a heavy allegation. I know it's become very, like, normal for people just to throw around race. You're a racist. You're a bigot. But those are not things that you should take lightly.
No.
If I call someone a racist, it's because I truly believe that they're racist, not because I disagree with them.
Right.
Which is what it's just devolved into. It's just everybody now is like, everybody who disagrees with me is a racist bigot.
Right.
And you're like, no, that's...
Yeah, it's not one of those opinionated things. It's kind of like either you are or you aren't.
Right, and
Here's a
by
line,
calling somebody a racist, now you put the onus on that person to defend themselves and say, no, I'm not. Otherwise, the hive mind, all the downvotes, all the Reddit people come and they're like, you're a racist. So-and-so said you're a racist. And that must mean you're a racist. It's like, give me a fucking break. It's just so intellectually lazy. It's just it's just so stupid at this point. Like, I've been called a racist now so many times.
Yeah.
Just based off of, political debates and things that I've had and differences of view. I'm just so immune. Like I'm just so numb to it. Like I don't even care. Like,
it's like, oh, thanks for letting me know you're a dumbass.
Yeah,
I appreciate
okay,
you just
cool.
calling it right out and saying.
Thank you for letting me know that your IQ is under 70. Like,
right.
how did that 6 on the SATs feel? You know, how did you do that? Yeah, like I think you get that just for putting your name on it, or 10 for getting your name on it. You still managed to fuck that up. So, but anyhow. Nonetheless, 774-992-8702. Let's get to a little bit of the NFL, and we'll do a motorsports minute, and we'll see where we're at after that. But the NFL obviously never stops, never sleeps.
Never
OTAs
does.
are taking place right now.
Yep.
Report
Aaron Rodgers is not showing up.
which. Totally fine. OTAs are one of those things that, it gets overblown a lot where people are like,
What does OTA stand for?
Organized team activities.
Oh, I thought it was optional team activities. I like the optional better because that's what it is. It's fucking optional.
Common misunderstanding. Common mistake. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, nobody's got to fucking show up to OTAs when you got fucking 18 years in the league. Like, I know how to throw a football. I know the offense. We haven't changed it. Okay, I'll see you in a fucking couple months.
Yeah, no, it's just to get in shape. It's more for the for the younger cats or whatever, and teams that have new pieces. For example, my Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
We've got a new quarterback, and it's Russell fucking Wilson.
Yeah.
And Russ is out there, and he's chefing it up.
Got to grease him up, bro.
Let Russ cook, baby.
Yep.
And he's out there working, and for the first time in his career, the team, the organization is building an offense around him. He will be the focal point.
Right.
In Seattle, it was always run the ball, defense, manage the game. Russ, do what you got to do, but manage the game, win when you can, whatever. Now they're going out, they're building this offense to Russ's strengths. They're they're helping Russ. Russ is working with Peyton Manning in the offseason.
Does Judy play?
Oh yeah, Judy's fine.
Judy's good.
Yeah, that was a whole lot to do about nothing.
Okay, good. I saw that, and I'm like, I hadn't heard anything. It disappeared.
The way Colorado law works, when there's a domestic dispute like that, you automatically get locked up with no bond, no bail.
Right.
And then, but the baby mama dropped. But I guess she took his phone, so he locked his car doors, so she couldn't get in and get like her purse and like some baby formula or something like that. Which, of course, was at the peak of the beginning of the baby formula shortage hysteria, when everybody was like, "Oh my God,
he's starving his kid.
They're starving the poor child. She can't get the formula." It's like, relax. I'm sure there was more. Like,
whip your titties out too.
They've
been doing that for a couple thousand years now.
A little more complicated than that, but yeah. I'm all for whipping out titties, but yes.
Well, I'm just saying, it's like the fuck. Everybody's freaking out about this shit. It's like, I don't know, like.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's because. Well, I could get into the whole reasons of the baby formula shortage.
That's a whole political conversation, I'm sure, though.
It is, and they knew about it. They knew it was coming, and it was more like an FDA-driven thing. And they all knew it was coming. They all knew it was going to happen, yet they did nothing about it. So, whatever. Here we are. It'll likely be fixed sooner than later.
I could give a shit.
Well, yeah, we don't have children, so.
And I ain't having them either, so I don't give a fuck.
Doesn't really matter. Doesn't really affect us, but that just because it doesn't affect me doesn't mean I don't have to be. I don't have to care about it, or
true.
At least have some interest in why it's happening.
Right.
Or
I'm more interested in why than anything else.
Truth. But no, the Jerry Jeudy thing was just a whole lot to do about nothing. That's squash. He's fine. He's not going to miss a day.
Okay.
But the OTAs aspect of things, there was that. It was a little cringeworthy. The picture of Russ.
Oh,
with his foot in the tub.
With the Peyton Manning,
yeah.
I saw it. I was like, no, I love that.
It was a little cringy. I was like,
really?
Who set this up?
I
like,
loved it.
Come on.
Like, I thought it was dope. I was like, you know what, dude? If there's anybody's footsteps that you want to follow, or at least take a page out of their book, it's fucking Peyton Manning. I don't give a shit if you tie your shoes the same way, or if you eat breakfast the same way, or whatever the fuck you do. I saw the picture, and I was honestly. It made me happy. I thought it was cool. I laughed.
I chuckled.
Like,
it was a little like.
Nah,
okay.
I didn't even think anything about that. I thought it was funny. I was like, look at this shit, dope. I just thought it was cool.
Yeah, it was just one of those things. It was like, all right, we really doing this? Like,
yeah, dude.
Is this where we're at now?
Bro, you should be fucking pumped right now.
I am.
I'm probably.
Believe me, I am very, very pumped for football season to start. For the first time since 2015, I am excited for football season.
Am I out of my fucking mind for being as excited as I am right now? For what's going on with the Colts, not to just completely like bring over the conversation.
No, this is fine because
Colts.
It brings us to our next point, because in the last 6 days, your Colts have gone out and signed my guy Philip Lindsay
Yup.
who I love as a backup to JTT.
Williams, Tyrone Williams. Who's from Baltimore? We just picked up another running back.
Yeah, Tavon Williams or
It's because of the T. T-Y, yeah, I saw it quick. I was like, cool.
Another a body. He's nothing crazy, but he's a body.
Yeah, we got Jonathan Taylor, so I was like, whatever.
And, of course, like I said to start the show, they have insulated themselves against the one thing that you cannot have happen on the run to a Super Bowl, and that is lose your quarterback for any amount of time, or worse yet, the season.
Or can you?
Now the Colts can.
I'm so fucking happy about this. I don't know why.
Big Dick Nick.
Nick fucking Foles, baby.
Blue and white, bro. It's like if Matt Ryan goes down, you're like, all right, no big deal.
Y'all are fucked now. If Matt Ryan goes down week 16 or 17 or something like that,
if you're a Titans, if you're like a Titans fan right now, you're praying to God that Matt Ryan stays healthy.
All right, let me rephrase that. If Matt Ryan goes down week 16 and 17 and the Colts are in the playoffs and locked it up, even if they're like one or two games out, y'all are fucked, bro. We got Big Dick Nick. We're good.
You're Gucci, baby.
We got two solid dudes at quarterback.
Joey Fats Radio, row one, seat one.
Hello.
What's going on, man?
Nothing much. I just want to say real quick that
Fire away.
I hope the NBA Finals is the Celtics versus the Warriors.
I think you got a pretty good shot of that.
And then I hope that the Warriors beat the hell out of the Celtics.
Really?
I also think you're probably not going to have too much trouble with either of those things. I think it's actually pretty much exactly how it's going to go.
Are you a Golden State fan, or are you just a Celtics? No, I'm not going to say hater because that sounds like I'm just like painting a word, but you dislike the Celtics.
Yeah. I just like to troll Boston teams. I'm from New York originally.
So you hate Boston, everything then, pretty much.
No, I wouldn't say hate. I don't have hate in my heart.
True, strong word.
Yeah, it's too strong.
I got more than enough hate in my heart for both of us. Don't worry.
but in regards to Boston, what happened in Boston with the Boston Marathon, I always have love for Boston.
I hear you.
I think it's a great city. You guys are Boston's definitely into sports. When they lose, I love to troll.
It's
one of the funnest parts about being a sports fan.
What I live for. It's literally what I live for.
But I just want to say real quick before I get off, I'm just glad that sports is back in America. And hopefully it keeps going and there's not another slowdown with sports, because sports, it's really important for the country to enjoy, to get our minds off of what's going on around the country. So I hope that we take what we learned from COVID and not make sure these cases spike again, because it'll be detrimental to the sports world if there's no sports.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, yeah.
I couldn't agree with you more, man. I mean, I'm super pumped at the explosion of popularity in like most sports. I mean, like golf being like one of the main ones, but people getting back in. I mean, I've even found myself watching almost every sporting event I could possibly watch. Kentucky Derby, playoff hockey.
When you don't have it, you don't realize what you have till you don't have it.
Till you don't have it, and like you said, man, having the sports come back. I mean, it was borderline bullshit watching the NFL season in 2020 with fucking paper cutouts in the stands and shit like that. And it's like, like you said, you don't know what you got until it's gone. And man, I can't agree with you more with being happy that the popularity of sports has just come back and exploded. You know what I mean?
But I will say this. I love the hockey environment during playoff time.
That's really the only time I enjoy it.
It's so intense.
It is. It's such a fast-paced game. Things can happen so quickly in hockey, which is one of the reasons why I love it. Just literally all it takes is a half a second and something crazy happens. I like hockey a lot. I don't watch regular season hockey. I'm not that crazy into it. But when playoff hockey comes along, I'm watching the Sharks and the Avalanche. You know what I mean? I don't give a shit if it's a West Coast, East Coast team, anything. I'm watching the playoffs when it comes to hockey. I love playoff hockey. It's one of the best sports I think in playoffs that you can get.
I hope the Rangers can make a comeback in this series.
Yeah, no, Rangers too. You guys are original six, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rangers, Red Wings, shit like that. I forget. I'm not too big into hockey, like as far as knowing history and things like that. But Rangers, I want to say what
Rangers,
are they?
Red Wings, Bruins, Canadians.
And one more thing, is you guys probably got callers. I was going to get your opinion.
Yeah.
It appears that sports betting is going to be around the corner for us Massachusetts residents. I'm all for it, and I think Massachusetts can use some more revenue.
Right.
Do you think there will be some pushback against sports betting when it's in full effect in our state?
I don't think there'll be any pushback from it.
I don't think there's any reason for pushback at this point. I
But-
think it's worked
I
think it's worked so well everywhere else. You know, the only thing I could see derailing this whole sports betting thing
I know what you're going to say. I'm going to agree with you.
is you know, shit like what's happened with Stephen Ross and the accusations and you know, he's got a $17 million investment in a sports betting gambling whatever company
Ring, whatever.
And he's, you know, trying to pay his head coach $100,000 a game to throw a game. You know, I think that's what your issues are going to have. That's where I think where your issues are going to come from. But other than that, I mean, as far as the residents go and everything else, I can't see any reason not to have it.
Right. Like, why wouldn't you want to bet on sports? You know what I mean? It's fun as shit. Everybody enjoys, you know, the thrill of, you know, putting a couple bucks down or you know, put a parlay together and seeing how close you can come
I'd
to win
love
it.
not to have to drive to Rhode Island or Connecticut to throw $100 down on a horse race.
Absolutely. No, I love it at all. I mean, I love the whole concept of it, except for the fact where now you're going to see the Donahues and shit, you know.
Yeah.
The more people fixing shit and the questions of bullshit calls and things like that come into play because now it's all ran by DraftKings and all this other bullshit and the money's involved now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I just see. I live in the city of Fall River, and I hope that when sports betting is legal, that we have like a sports hub over here, because so much money gets wagered over in Tiverton, Rhode Island.
Yep.
Right.
Thousands and thousands of dollars, big revenue.
Oh yeah.
And I hope that my city doesn't miss the parade because it's big business. But one more thing, guys.
Sure.
Jake Paul, I think one of the Paul brothers called out Canelo Alvarez.
Idiot.
Okay. Canelo Alvarez, I think it's Jake Paul, the one who knocked out Woodley. If Canelo gets in the ring with him,
Jake Paul was Woodley. Yes.
he will take him out. And I just there is no way that he will beat Canelo Alvarez because Canelo is a real boxer.
He's an actual professional.
And this guy is just knocking out people who are not even boxers.
Right. Woodley's a UFC fighter. I mean, does he have some skill in boxing? I'm sure he does, but that's not.
But the Paul brothers, I know what they're doing. Here's the crazy part. Jake Paul was one of the highest paid athletes last year.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like he's smart in that aspect, but if he gets into the ring with Canelo, I know he lost against Bivol, and I was going to bet on Bivol, but Canelo will take him out.
I would love to see that too.
Yeah, I hope it happens just for the sake of it'll end Jake Paul, but I also hope it doesn't happen just for the simple fact I don't want to see the sport of boxing have to stoop to that level.
I know.
To accommodate a great fighter like Canelo Alvarez. To have to fight a YouTube star.
I would turn him down. If I was Alvarez, I'd be like, the fuck out of here, dude. I'm not one of your publicity stunts,
Come on, man.
bro.
You've got, 4 years as an amateur boxer?
Maybe, yeah.
I'm not participating in your publicity
If I
stunt.
was Canelo, I would up the ante. That if I beat you, you retire from the sport because his fights are just a spectacle and it's disrespecting the sport of boxing.
Exactly. No, I agree.
That's all it really comes down to.
It's just a cash grab. It's a cash grab.
Yeah.
You
I
know
think
that.
you guys doing a great job with your show.
Thank you.
And keep up the great work.
Sure, man. Appreciate the call. Be sure to give us a like and a follow.
All right. Have a good one.
Have a good night,
Take
buddy.
it easy. 774-992-8702. A little love from the Riv tonight. So
yeah, he brings a lot of good points up, dude.
Yeah, I mean it's true. It's it's funny because we took for granted. I was watching something the other night. I was watching the 2020 Daytona 500. Where Ryan Newman got wrecked on the last lap, and we thought he had become a hashtag.
Yeah.
And it was bad. And I remember thinking back and going, son of a bitch, this was the last major sporting event before COVID shut everything down.
Right.
That was it. That was the last big deal sporting event before everything got shut down. And you kind of think back to that year, and you're like, you know, how much uncertainty there was and, like, what was going on. And it's like, you knew it was bullshit, but then the NBA comes out and, you know, it was somebody posted, like, we were talking about Rudy Gobert the other night, and, you know, when he did he had COVID and he was blowing on all the microphones and everything else. And that was it. That was what got the NBA shut down.
Right.
It was just over after that.
Right.
And you're like, you know, you took it for granted a little bit. You know, you definitely had those instances of being like, oh, it's, you know, the NFL will start. The NFL will be on time. The NFL will be on schedule.
Right.
It was, but it looked very different.
Oh, it was horrible.
And it wasn't the same.
It was horrible.
It really wasn't the same. It was really like it was just blech.
It sucked, man.
It did. It
sucked.
really just did. And by the end of the season, you had the fans back in the stands to some capacity, but it wasn't. It just wasn't the same. And it was. No. It's still not this. It's true. And then to his sports gambling point, I'm very curious to see when and by how much this is going to pass, because it's going to pass. Right. I don't think there's any politician in this state that is going to come out against allowing sports betting in Massachusetts, because I really think that would be the single most unpopular thing you could do.
Probably.
Even if you're the hardest core Democrat in the bluest area of the state, if the person in your district or your area, whoever you usually vote for, comes out against sports betting,
right,
you're probably going to think twice about voting for them again.
Yeah, because, like, why? I mean, everything about sports betting just it creates jobs, it gets money going, it gets everything flowing. You know, everybody who watches sports, I mean, shit, I know guys who just watch sports, not even watch the sports, but they still bet on it. Yeah. They don't give a fuck about the sport. Then I know guys that don't give two shits about baseball or golf or anything, but they're like, yo, hey, do you know this guy? Is he good? Should I bet on him? And I'm like, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know shit about betting, so I really don't know if you should.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And that's the thing, too. And to that point, what you just said, that, I guess, would be the only negative that you could take away from allowing sports gambling is you have people like that have legitimate problems. And for whatever reason, gambling seems to suck you in fast.
Right.
And you find yourself down. I mean, we were in Florida watching the Bills and the Chiefs.
Yep.
And we were with a buddy of ours who had just lost like $5,000 on the Packers the night before. And a lot of people took a beating on the Packers in that 49ers game. And he doubled down and bet on the Bills outright to win it on Sunday.
Ugh.
Partially on my advice. And I did preface it with saying, listen, I hate the Chiefs. I am rooting 100% for the Bills. I could be biased here, but I really do think the Bills can win this game.
Of course.
And I said, if I do think the Bills are going to win this game. And do you want to talk about so we're in a hotel room, and there's 30, 40 of us, and everybody knows that this particular person's got $5,000 riding on this game right now. So the emotional roller coaster of the last 2 minutes of that game was one of the fucking wildest things I've ever experienced.
Right.
And it wasn't because my team wasn't even involved.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That was just because a friend of mine had money on this game.
Right.
And I was invested because I was rooting for his wallet.
Right. Yeah.
And granted, I wanted the Chiefs to lose, and it's the NFL, so that's kind of easy to get into. But regardless, but it was just such an emotional ride.
Yeah.
To see that game play out, and knowing that there was that money was on the line, and you're like, shit. Like, and this is why I don't bet, because I bet with my heart a lot. You know,
me too.
I know, even though my head says don't do that, my heart's like, nah, it can happen.
Right.
Come on, you can do it. Like,
but part of me wants to bet with the heart because I don't really want to get into all the analytical bullshit about gambling and the spread and this and that and Vegas.
It kind of ends up being like when you start playing fantasy football and you end up in multiple leagues, and you get into it, your first time in it, you do one league and you're like, this is fucking awesome.
Awesome.
This is amazing. Fast forward 4 years and you're in 13 leagues like me, and you've got teams and you can't even keep who's straight. You're like, all right, I don't know what league that is, but that's good. I don't know what league it is that's bad for, but that's bad. And then you're like, you get to a part where you're rooting against yourself, you find yourself. The one thing I never did was root against the Broncos, no matter what.
Right.
It didn't matter if the Broncos won, and if the Broncos were going to win, and it was going to cost me fantasy. See you later, fantasy. Doesn't matter. Bye.
Yep.
That was one rule I never broke.
I mean, I might have been like a little upset if Reggie Wayne caught a touchdown and posted T.Y. Hill, and I would have been like, "Fuck, if that was just T.Y." But that's about it.
Every game though. That's any day. I mean, I had in 2013, I had Peyton Manning, DT, Orange Julius, and Decker on my team. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, I got half the Broncos record-setting offense, and then Wes Welker catches a touchdown. I'm like, fuck. I mean, good, but fuck.
Right.
Or worse yet, Rashae Caldwell. Comes out, Bubba Caldwell. Caldwell catches 2 touchdowns on a Thursday night game, and I'm like, are you going to be fucking kidding me? I got all these guys, and I'm in the playoffs, and Bubba Caldwell catches the only 2 touchdowns of the night. I'm like, this is fucking unbelievable. Yeah. So gambling can get like that too, where you start getting so involved with it.
Right.
You only become focused on the money, and that's fine if that's what you're doing. But most of our friends, most of the people that we know, they're lucky to break even at the end of the year. On
pretty
gambling.
much.
Some guys will do really well to start the year, and then they'll death by 1,000 paper cuts, and they'll end up back at at even.
Right, like they threw $100 on Rich Strike.
Some guy,
all of a sudden they stop betting the other way, and now they're fucked.
Right, exactly. And then they realize that I got lucky once, and I should probably just walk away, and they don't, and they end up giving all the money back anyway. So that's how gambling goes. I mean, I'm curious to see how this is going to go in this state. I know there was I believe there was a guy who was running for the state senate out west. He was from out west of Worcester, like towards Springfield area, and he was running on making sure that gambling got legalized in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really smart platform to run on because it's something that almost everybody can universally get behind.
Right. Doesn't matter what sport you're into.
Even if you think about it, even if you think of all the negatives that come with gambling, like the addictions and so on and so forth.
The rigging.
Well, I'm just thinking. I'm not even going down that road, but just like the effect it has on a community, the people.
Right, the R side of it.
If people get addicted to it, okay, now we've got to treat those people. So we got to create more jobs, more opportunities for people to work, make money, and earn money treating these people for their gambling addiction.
Right.
I mean, it's not good that they're addicted to gambling, but they're going to get addicted to gambling, and we're going to need to treat them. So you're going to create jobs in that regard.
Right, but I don't know if it's the best thing to create jobs because of a sickness.
It's not, but it's
inevitable.
Exactly.
It's inevitable.
It's an inevitable evil, and you're going to have to do something about it. So you kind of look at it like, that's why I'm saying like universally, like, yeah, there are things that you could say and be like, I don't think we should legalize it. It's addicting. People are going to get addicted to this. They're going to go broke. You're going to see people get divorced, lose their jobs, lose their houses, their kids, their cars, miss payments because they're gambling their money away.
Right.
That being said, what's the difference if they're driving to Tiverton to do it? The people that are going to do that are the ones that are driving over state lines already to do it regardless.
See, you got a different outlook on it on me. If you're going to get divorced, lose your house, lose your job, lose out over gambling, good, because you're a fucking dumbass for doing it anyway. You know what I mean? That's exactly what you deserve, and you should have gotten it anyway. I'm more concerned about rigging
I don't know if they
games.
deserve it.
Yeah, guy, you're gonna go bet 20 fucking grand on a fucking game. Do you have 20 grand? No, you're most likely playing with fucking rent money. What the fuck are you doing playing with rent money, fucking betting on games? You're a dumbass.
But that's where the sickness aspect of it comes in.
You shouldn't have started, bro.
It's a sickness, but it's a sickness like in a lot of ways where addiction is a sickness, but it also starts with a choice.
Exactly.
It starts with the choice to take that drink, to smoke that cigarette, to place that bet. You had to make that choice, consciously tell yourself, okay, I'm going to do this.
Right.
And, of course, everybody, like everything else, is, well, I'll be fine. I can handle it.
Yeah.
Until they can't.
Right.
And then that's the problem. So, yeah, and then to your point, too, though, like with the rigging of stuff.
That's more important to me. Is the rigging, because I know I don't have a gambling problem, so I guess I'm being a little biased here, because, like, I went to Encore a couple months ago. I fucking banged out, like, $300 off a $20 bet on fucking roulette, and I walked away. I mean, me and Monique had a fucking great night drinking and hanging out. Didn't spend a dime except for booze on the
Didn't
money
put
that
it
I won.
back in, right.
Didn't put it back in. Fuck you. Thanks for the $300. I'm going to buy booze. Walked around, hung out, had a great night, and that was fucking it. A lot of people can't do that. So for me, I'm a little biased.
They're like, no, we're going to reinvest.
Yeah, no. Yeah, okay. I'll take that $300. I'll go put it in
That's
Fidelity.
what the
okay?
casino wants you
yeah,
to do.
Exactly. So for me, I'm maybe a little biased about it because I don't give a fuck about your gambling problem. I think you're an idiot if you have one anyway. But
I wouldn't go that far. It is an addiction. It's a process in your brain that doesn't allow you to stop.
It just sounds like a fucking stupid one to me. It's almost like somebody spending hella money on like a fucking baseball card or something.
Right, because it's not like dumb. I guess it's like, you know, like with drugs or alcohol, like your body will physically ache and hurt until you get that substance back in you. Whereas with gambling, it's just like all right, but like
right. Well, that's maybe another chemical addiction. A lot of dopamine going on up there.
I mean, that's
same fucking effect. I don't know.
That's exactly what it is. I mean, gambling addiction's a real thing. All addiction's a real thing. It's just how people treat it and handle it, and can they handle it?
Right.
You know, I mean,
yep.
It's tough. It's not easy. It's not an easy question to answer.
Right.
And by legalizing sports gambling in Massachusetts, are we putting people potentially in harm's way?
Right.
You know, but then again, I also don't believe it's the government's job to protect you from yourself.
Right.
You know, that's the beauty of living in a free society.
Exactly.
You get to make those decisions on your own, and that's how it goes.
Is it going to hurt people? Sure. But more importantly, it's going to hurt the integrity of the game, I think.
Well, I don't think it's going to hurt the integrity of the game just because by legalizing it in Massachusetts, that's not going to change anything.
No, but I mean, this is just a domino effect. I mean, what other states is it not legal in? I mean, are we the last one?
Yeah, we're one of the last ones.
Is it really like almost 50 state legal now?
Let me check.
I have no idea. So, depending if we're one of the last ones, okay. Then if the country is mostly saturated, you know, the states with fucking with legalized gambling, then I guess Massachusetts really isn't going to make that much of a difference. But with it all coming, you know, full circle with every state, you know, if there's only a few right now that do it, like I said, I think it's going to hurt the integrity of the game. You're going to see a lot more Tim Donaghy's out there. Tim Donaghy, right? Who's the ref?
Yeah, from the
Miami Heat, D-Wade, you know, that's why he got his championship. You know, shit like that. You know, Vegas is going to have a lot more control on what happens if they are. I mean, people might say I'm being naive in saying that because, like, they don't already. You know what I mean? I'm sure they do, but I just think now you're just really, really solidifying gambling and betting and winning on the game, you know, on what the outcome of the game is. That's going to be the main factor right there.
So there's different stipulations to it, but it seems about 33 states.
Really?
It's legal in some form.
No shit. All right. Well, that's kind of a lot.
So it's up there. It's up there. I mean, there's a decent chunk, but again, I just don't understand. Like, if it's legal in Rhode Island or it's legal in Tiverton, you can go here and place a thing at the sports book and put throw a bean down on, on a horse on the Kentucky Derby. Why are we letting that money in Massachusetts go to Rhode Island? Why are we not turning that? I think, who was it? I forget what state it was that legalized it, and in their first year, it generated like $60 million in revenue.
Really?
Like tax revenue.
Right, see?
You know what I mean? For the state. So it was like, okay, like, yeah, that's, nothing to spit at. Like, that's a pretty substantial in 1 year, in your first year.
Right. And unfortunately, being a Democratic state, the 60, if that was Massachusetts, that'd all go to the pockets of the people who allowed the legalization in the first place. So I don't think the state would actually see any of that money.
Plenty of people are going to get their beak wet.
Yeah, they're going to get their pockets lined. Definitely. I mean, but,
But it is what it is. Yeah. But, all right, well, let's leave it there.
Sounds good.
Good show. Good place to wrap it up, I think. My allergies are starting to kick back up.
Kick your ass now, yeah.
Yeah, we'll end it there. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. We appreciate it. Thanks, everybody that called in.
Yes.
We'll be back next Tuesday night, 8:30.
Facts.
We'll see how this Celtics series goes.
I know.
Sunday would be Game 7, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Let's see. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow's going to be Game 5.
Which is Wednesday.
Thursday, Friday, 6, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, if it goes to Saturday. Yeah, if it goes.
I know Game 7's on a Sunday, so it has to be.
Well, it has to be Sunday, Game 7.
So
it's every other day now, so.
Yep. So we'll find out. By the time we get back, we will know how this series went. I still think the Celtics are going to pull it off. And I think, like our caller said, which we didn't get his name, by the way.
I know. I didn't get his name.
Fall River didn't drop his name, but that's all right.
That's all right. He's now Fall River.
Fall River called in. He said he thinks the Celtics it's going to be Warriors-Celtics, and the Warriors are going to smash them. So I tend to agree.
It's something that I think could happen.
I think it's very likely to happen.
Do I hope it does? No.
So the show will be up on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts here right after the show.
Yep.
We also will be up on our YouTube channel, so if you want to watch it there afterwards, you got that as well. Make sure you give us a 5-star review on Apple and Spotify if that's where you listen to them.
Yes.
Until next week, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for joining us. I'm Joey Fats, Plizzy. Sean Betancourt couldn't be here tonight, but
you'll see him next
He'll
week.
be back next week after his monkeypox episode is all over.
Yeah.
And
I want to know what Sean thinks of Aaron Judge's hands. Just real quick, I just want to know what Sean thinks, but he's not here, so we'll have to see him next week.
We'll have to wait. So until next week, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. This has been Row 1 Seat 1 Live right here on the one, the only, the New Bedford Guide, and we'll check you next week. Peace.
Peace.